definitely. Like ever since
Right.
a kid, like everybody wants that who plays
Sure.
baseball. At least have
Yeah.
thought about it. So
Hmm.
I mean, I've always just followed that and believed I could do it. And like things started to happen in high school where like
Right.
college was starting to look. So I really started to believe in it even more. And that just kind of fuels your own like energy towards it. So
Sure.
worked even harder and stuff. And then got to college and kind of the same thing, got pro interest. And then that
Hmm.
fuels you even more. And it just kind of always snowballs off itself. So, I mean, yeah, I always believed in it, but like as things happen, you believe in it more and you just keep getting more and more energy towards it. And just the work ethic keeps continuing to climb as you see what it takes.
Sure, absolutely. Now, the thing that I found interesting too is when, I'll go back and forth with you on social media occasionally, and I often found that you were always determined to finish education too. I do recall that you actually did. You went back to Michigan to finish up and get that degree when baseball wasn't, in session per se. How important is it to you to have that education, that piece of paper, that graduate, that degree for Michigan? How important was that for you to have that in addition to living the dream of playing professional baseball?
It was really important. That's why I went back right away to do it because I knew if I waited too long after I signed with the Reds, if I
Sure.
waited too long, it's just harder to go back the longer you wait. So I just wanted to knock it out right away. So my first two off seasons I had, I went back to Ann Arbor and enrolled in classes and just got it out of the way really because if I waited until now I don't want to go back to school. I mean,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty past that point, but it means a lot for me to get to that point. And as many people say, like it's a good safety net to have, especially from
Sure.
and so something that was important to me to finish and just make sure I got it out of the way instead of putting it in my back pocket and waiting too long and losing
Gotcha.
motivation for it.
Absolutely. What was the degree, by the way? What did you major in?
It was general studies, but I was in the business school doing marketing my last 2 years. So I have like a marketing certificate from the Raw School of
Oh,
Business.
wow. Yeah, it's awesome. Not to mention the fact that I saw something on Facebook. You got into real estate business now too.
Yeah, me and my dad partnered up and started our own real estate
It's
company. We
awesome.
build homes out in Florida.
No kidding. So how you gonna? I mean, you're doing that and baseball. I mean, how are you managing? Obviously, there's nothing going on right now, but how do you foresee managing both together? Obviously, when you're playing, your dad's taking care of the business, and then when you're not, you guys are both at it.
Yeah, I mean, we hire a general contractor to do most of like the actual labor, so a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it is remote for me anyways. So I just had it when I went to Instructs in October. I had my first taste of actually trying to manage it from the road.
Oh
And
wow.
it's not that bad. You just got to make sure you keep up with it and cut out your time each day to make sure you can keep up and stuff like that. But yeah, having him here while I'm out is another big help to have someone on the ground floor, being there for it.
Absolutely. Now, to get back to the baseball side of things, when you get drafted, I think it was what, 16th round.
Yep.
You're waiting. I mean, I'm searching every day because I get excited for stuff like that. I just talked to John Duplantier, a friend of mine, that I got to see grow through the minors, and now he's on an active 40 with the D-backs. I just keep tabs on everybody, and when I find out that people were looking at you every single day of that week, it was Googling Ryan Nutof, because I wanted to see what the hell was happening. Like I wanted to see, like, did he get drafted? Did he get drafted? And that's all that the local newspaper was talking about, was just nonstop about you. And I go, oh my God, when is this going to happen? And then it happens. I mean, how does that all go down
Well,
when
I mean,
you get the call? I mean, what's going through your head?
it's pain. It's bittersweet because you want to
Just
well
want
you
it
always
over
get
with.
told you're gonna go higher than maybe you will, and I expected
Yeah.
to go higher than I did. So like when you get past the rounds where you think you're gonna go, it's like, oh wow, like is this gonna happen or not? So like
Yeah.
you get like kind of low a little bit, but I mean you still have hope 'cause there's a lot of rounds in baseball especially.
Sure.
I still had hope that it would happen, but after it got out of like the round range I was expecting, I got a little bit nervous. But then when it finally got the call, none of that mattered. It was just
Of
welcome
course.
to a new world. And once you get your first day in pro ball too, I mean, it's pretty much everyone's on the same level. It's just
Sure.
it's your ticket in, and I got my ticket in, and it was one of the best days I've had.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of it too. I mean, it speaks to the leadership and coaching that you had in high school too. I think it was what, Coach Erickson over at South Elgin, right?
Yep, yeah,
I
he's
talk.
awesome.
I mean, yeah, I mean, with everything that goes on in his life, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on at home with little Matthew and stuff like that. But if you talk a little bit about his leadership and his character and how that's helped you growing as a player. I mean, you saw it happen with Weiss too.
Mhm.
He can't. I mean, he's really built a tradition of just character and winning at that school in South Elgin High School. Could you talk a little bit about how instrumental his role was into your baseball career?
Oh yeah. Without Ben Erickson, I don't think I would be in the current position I'm in because he really knew the roadmap I needed to take to get seen and get noticed. And coming from a smaller town like South Elgin, the eyes aren't always on.
Sure.
So he kind of directed my path, and he understands the game. Just developing under him was great. I
Hmm.
still contact him to like after a game. I'm like, hey, can you look at this or can you do this? Like,
That's
he's still
awesome.
a great resource, and I'm sure Ryan Weiss would echo what I'm saying here. But yeah, he's been great, and he's great for South Elgin to have him, and he understands the game of baseball. He understands pitching, and without him, I don't think I'd be right here.
Yeah. No, and I think you touched on a great point. I mean, it is a little bit harder coming from a smaller town and trying to profile yourself to, the scouts and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's a little bit different when you're playing out in California when all the eyes are on you, 24/7, or down in Florida where
Mhm.
baseball is literally a year-round thing. But yeah, I mean, how does the scouting work for stuff like that to get seen? I mean, is that done by the school, or is that literally, your family just drilling away and helping you, build this portfolio to get seen?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a different route. There's a million routes to
Sure.
being seen. I could only speak on mine. So I mean, my parents were always great with getting me to places. They never told me no if I wanted to go do this or be
Right.
part of this, like, showcase or whatever. So it started off, actually, Ben Erickson got me into a game called Silver and Black. And
Mm,
it was like a precursor to like the area code tryouts, which I went out to California to do later. But that was my first real showcase I went to, and I pitched and I struck out the side there, and that was like the first time I got noticed by anybody. I got a bunch of calls after that, like pro scouts were calling me after that. I was like,
mm,
"What the heck is going on?" Like, I didn't even really realize what the event was I was going to. I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go play, but against some other high school guys," and
right.
it turned out that they were all prospects too, like being heavily recruited
Mm.
and seeing guys there that are committed to like LSU and stuff. I'm like,
Oh,
oh wow,
wow.
that's what it was. So I didn't really realize until after the fact. And that kind of put me on the map. Then people started coming out, college coaches and stuff, and pro guys started coming out to my high school games. And
Mm.
the more like I performed, the more it snowballed into itself. And I got invited to more things and did more showcase events and stuff like
Sure.
that. And really just kind of catapulted me to the next level. Eventually, I got seen by Michigan,
Yep.
toured some other schools, finally toured Michigan, and that was a done deal once I went there. It was a great visit I had.
Yeah. What was it about Michigan over the other schools?
Well, Michigan is special place. I mean, obviously, I'm biased now that I've come from there, but
Sure, of
I
course.
remember my first day visiting there. I just seeing the football stadium. We went to a football game. It was just the big house has 100,000 plus people packed in it. It's just a crazy different energy. And then coaches Eric Bakich, who's still there, is just he's unbelievable and he's great at recruiting. Showed me around and showed me the baseball facilities, and I noticed that they have the resources that can. I mean, we're going to be living well at Michigan as an athlete. And then on top of that, the athletic side is the academics over there are great too. So it was kind of a no brainer of loving the campus, loving the sports and the facilities, and then having that academic prowess behind it was just kind of the final nail in the coffin for it. So
Mhm.
it was a
Gotcha.
pretty easy choice after I visited.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I think the thing is college. I mean, you really took off. I think it was freshman year was just insane for you. What, as far as success goes, I mean, was that one of the best years of baseball you've ever had in your entire life?
One of them for sure, definitely. I mean, going to a new level again, I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
I was later in the recruiting process. A lot of guys I commit their sophomore or even
Oh
freshman year
yeah.
sometimes, and I committed my senior year, so I was like new to the game, so I didn't really know what to expect. So I just went
Hmm.
out there pitching like these were high school guys. I didn't like get intimidated by the name of the school or
Sure.
who this prospect was. I just went and pitched, and it that honestly I think was probably one of the biggest factors of my success my freshman years. I just didn't care. I just didn't even
That's
know better than to just pitch, and that's what I've always done. So I think that really helped my freshman year success. But
Sure.
as I went through college, you learn more how to play the game, and your knowledge matures and your experience grows, and you start to learn more and more. And I mean, that never stops, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I think you hit a point there is as soon as you start to overthink and you play the game in a way that um you haven't played it before, I mean, whether it be playing down your competition or um saying, oh, they're from a better school, this may be tougher. As soon as
Hmm.
you start to do that, you already count yourself out. So it's
Yeah,
like to
you block.
never, they're no different than you. They're no
Mhm.
different than anybody. They're just playing the game they love, just like you. So blocking that out, it's a lot easier said than done for many people. It is hard to get over that. But I think that was obviously then a key to success. And you see that too when you get drafted and you got sent down to, I think you started in what, Missoula?
I started off in Billings.
Billings, Missoula's Arizona, Billings,
Yep.
Montana, little town up there. Talk a little bit about when you get drafted, you get sent there, the host family experience as a new draft.
Hmm.
I talked to Duplantier about that too. I mean, how long did it take for you to get accustomed to that new way of life, going literally from your family to a new family and
Hmm.
living with them? What was that like, that experience initially for you?
Yeah, so I mean, just getting thrown into after the draft, just getting thrown into a whole new world. I didn't know a single person. I didn't know anybody.
Oh, it's
I got
tough.
sent to a state I've never been to
Yeah,
in Montana, and then I have a host family I've never met that I'm living with. So it's just kind of a bunch of new
sure.
factors. So I just kind of like went about it like as openly as I could. Like I just kind of like had a fresh start. So I went there and was just super friendly and tried to meet as many cool people as I could. And then I met my host family, and it didn't even feel weird like living at their
Oh,
house.
that's
They were
awesome.
so welcoming, so nice. I got really lucky with them. And they still reach out to me to this day, and they're like, "Hey, you ever want to come back to Montana? Please feel free to contact us. You got a place to stay." And I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome." And they were just like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better host family to start off my chain of host families throughout my career, but they were great out there, especially in a place I didn't know at all. Montana
Yeah.
is kind of just a random spot, and they gave me a car to use and everything, so it was really
Wow.
cool. Yeah,
That's
it's a really cool
awesome.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how does that work? So post draft, I mean, what happens after that as far as transitioning into the life of a professional baseball player? I mean, what happens post draft? You don't just say, okay, show up to Billings tomorrow. It's what's the post draft documentation and process like? What's all involved?
Yeah, so the first thing I did is I got drafted, and then they gave me like a date. They were going to fly me to Arizona, our spring training complex.
Uh-huh.
And then I did my physical. They tested me out, make sure I wasn't like hurt or had any underlying problems that they
Right.
didn't know about. Because I mean, they just only see me play; they've never actually like checked on me.
Sure.
So you have to like pass your physical, and then you have your official signing where you sign your contract with them and officially have that clock started of your minor league free agency at least.
Hmm.
And after that, after you pass it, the next day I was out on a plane to Billings, and that kind of started it there. And just hopped on a team because I think they had their first game played already by the time I got there. Because by the time they got my physical done and sent me out there, it was already in. So I just kind of hopped on the team and was like, "What's up, guys? I'm here to play."
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. What's
yeah,
what's going through your head on that flight though? Because I remember seeing your Instagram stories and following that. I'm like, this has got to this is insane. Like you're on that flight, you're getting ready to go there, and you're like, I'm doing this. I'm living a dream. I
yeah.
mean, what was that flight like for you?
You get a little bit of that imposter syndrome. You're like, "Do I really? Is this
Is this
real?" 'Cause you kind of get,
happening? I don't.
yeah. It's kind of fast from the day your name gets called to your first day playing. So it's like,
Yeah,
"Whoa, is this real? Is this what's
yeah.
going
Whoa,
on
whoa, whoa.
here?"
One day at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And I just got like a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, do I really deserve to play professional baseball right now? And then like I kind of like thought about it a little bit longer. I was like, you
Like,
know what,
yeah,
I
I
do.
agree.
I mean, everybody else got their chance to play here, so I mean, like, I'm just gonna go out there and throw the ball. And I had a really good start to my career, actually. I think I went like 12 scoreless. I was like, oh, I do deserve to be here. And
Yeah,
then,
like,
as baseball always does, as soon as you feel like you're good, it comes right back. I think I
yeah.
gave up like 5 runs my next
It
time.
happens. It happens. It really does. Now, everyone knows. I mean, I even know growing up playing catch with your father is something that I mean you cherish, no matter what age, what level of the sport you're playing in. Your dad, your family flies out to see you play for the first time. I mean, you have to be I mean, more him probably more so. Maybe not. Maybe it was an equal level of emotion. How how blessed of a moment was that for you, having your dad be there, seeing you play professionally, and to cherish, that father son moment again, where it all began 20 plus years ago
Mhm.
here in South Elgin. I mean, what was that experience like to have your family there?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So actually, the first game my dad went to, I was in, I think, Orem, Utah, playing the Angels rookie ball team, and I had no idea he was coming. And then I
Oh,
just
that's
look up in the
awesome.
stands and I see him and my brother. I'm like, well, what
What
are
the
they
hell is
doing
this?
in
Yeah.
Utah to see me play? So that was pretty cool. And then I actually had my catcher from Michigan was on the other team too. So it was just like kind of a cool experience having like some of these people that I know from different places and my family all together in Utah playing professional baseball. It's
That's
kind of a
awesome.
strange experience, but it was really cool.
So you had no clue that they were going to be there.
No idea. Yeah, they just showed
Okay.
up. And I literally saw them. They're taking BP, and I was like looking in there. I was like, "Is that my dad?"
What the
And
heck?
it
Yeah.
was. It
That's
was really
awesome.
crazy. Yeah,
No, I was going to say, I mean, I was, if you got called in to play and then you saw them while you're on the mound, that'd be a little bit different.
yeah. That I'm glad I saw him before because I probably
Yeah. It might be a rough thing to kind of deal with a little
yeah.
bit.
I'd be thinking I'd be like, What?"
Wait,
Just
what?
confused.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about my goal there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Now, I think you finished the season up in Billings the first year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my whole first half season was in Billings.
Now the off season comes, and now this is when that second year is really where players start to make their moves and literally go from they could go from three different levels in two
Yeah.
months, and
Yeah.
that's when stuff really gets crazy. I think you start off year two in what, Daytona?
Yeah, so my first year I was in, or I guess my first full season I was in Dayton, and then I got called up to Daytona for playoffs. So I
Hmm.
had my first little taste my first year of high. Then I started off in 2019 in Daytona, and then right before the All Star break, I got called up to Chattanooga and finished the year out there. And then I haven't played in a season
Well,
since
yeah.
because of COVID, obviously.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And I mean, how's that been for you guys? Because I mean, you guys, the summer, there's no off days in the summer for baseball, regardless of the level you're playing. It's every day. And if you're not playing, you're either traveling. What was it like having that amount of time off? Probably the most amount of time off in a summer in your whole life, right?
Yeah, I think since I've started playing baseball, that's the most time I've had off, and it's still going. The most
Yeah,
time I've
right.
had off in ever, and it's really strange. And I noticed that there's really two approaches that guys have taken to like the whole time off deal. Is a lot
Hmm.
of guys get discouraged and like, oh, I'll probably never get to play again for the next 2 years, and they get discouraged and kind of pump the brakes a little bit
Sure.
on their career. And then there's those guys that you see that use this as an opportunity and they train extra hard and they just really see this time as like I have time to experiment and work on things that I don't normally get to in
Right.
seasons and because you don't have this much time off.
Hmm.
So I kind of went the second route and just like I'm gonna just try some new routines, try some new workout programs, just see some new velocity programs and just test out things. And it really helped. My velocity shot up this summer and it was pretty cool to see just having that time to experiment. Really, it's
Right.
what it is, and I just hope more and more people use this time like that.
Sure. Now you were down in Goodyear, I take it right before Major League Baseball kind of put the halt to it, correct?
Yeah,
When that announcement came down, I mean they I think they were the last sport to really play deep into it. I mean there was games going. I mean second week of March, if not the
yeah. I
start.
think March 31st was the last day
Yeah,
that
I
we
mean you guys are playing pretty late when that decision came down. I mean, first and foremost, at that time, the whole country's in a panic. We don't know what the fuck's going on. Literally, I mean, we know now a lot about it, which is we're in a much better spot now. But then we don't know what the hell's going on. People are
yeah.
dropping like flies, and now you guys get this announcement. How did Major League Baseball and how did they orchestrate? Figuring out what the hell to do at that point. I mean, you got all these teams here, literally packed together. It's like, okay, what do we do? How do we get out of this? What's the next step? What was that like?
Yeah, so it was really weird. So I was in early camp, so I was with just the major league team for the first all the way up until then, because minor league camp didn't even start yet
Mm-hmm.
fully. So we were at the stadiums with a bunch of fans because I mean it's minor league or major league
Sure.
spring training. So they told us like middle of March, they're like, hey, there's this bug going around. Just make sure you don't like touch the
Yeah.
fans or like interact, like go into the crowd or anything. So
Yeah.
we're like, what? Oh,
What? Okay.
okay, but
Sure.
sure. And you still saw guys like go up and stuff because no one really knew. It was just like some bug going, oh, we're fine.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then that took a turn. So it was like a couple days of that. And then they were like really ramping up stuff. We had like a big white tent outside of our complex where we like
Wow.
had to like spread out people and stuff. And we had meetings talking about like what we could possibly go home. We're like, go home. What is this
Yeah.
thing going around? So it didn't really feel real until like they said that we might be going home from spring training. We're like, wait, what?
What
And
the hell?
even then, we didn't expect the full season. We're like, oh, we'll probably go for like 2 weeks, a month tops, and we'll be right back. Like
Mm-hmm.
this bug going around. And then obviously we all learned how
Right. Yeah.
important the safety was for COVID, and kind of got a little bit of that long winter feeling sitting there like, okay, it's been 6 weeks and then we still haven't gotten back, then 2 months, and then we're like, okay, this is getting really strange. And you just kept guessing like, are we gonna play anytime soon?
Right.
And then they finally called the minor league side and we're like, wow, that's insane, they canceled. So we were like, this must be pretty serious. And
Mm-hmm.
just now the Reds did a great job of maintaining everything. We got on Slack and Zoom and
Nice.
had weekly communication and made sure that we were uploading videos of us doing work to keep us just going along.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just such a weird
Yeah.
thing. I never expected to be a part of my baseball journey, but I mean, the Reds did a great job of keeping everybody up to date and telling us what we needed to do and stuff like that. So they did a good job of managing one of the craziest situations in, I guess, baseball history. So
Yeah, not just baseball, but just history in general.
yeah, history in general, for sure.
I mean, because you're not having, I mean, it's the minors are a huge part of just the baseball in general. I mean, you're not having these games going. You're not. I mean, if you're running a front office for the Major League Baseball, I mean, you're not seeing these guys play. I mean, how are you figuring out? I mean, what was the day-to-day routine for you? Obviously, you said Zoom videos, but that's not the same. Like, how are you staying in shape and maintaining, everything? Just in case, say, hey, boom, yeah, you got to report. I mean,
Yeah.
how are you able to still do that? I mean, I haven't. There was no talk. Like, no minor league games are obviously going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Schaumburg Boomers lent their stadium the White Sox, or they had people up there. They were using it as their practice site. I mean, what was your day-to-day routine besides the Zoom and little training videos and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy, especially when they shut down gyms and stuff. People got really creative, ordering like kettlebells and weights from offline, finding it's honestly pretty cool how many guys figured out cool ways to get their work in. I got lucky. My stepdad had a private facility to train in that was shut down, but I got to use it. So there's a weight room there and a big turf field and mounds and stuff. So I got my work in like that. So I was pretty lucky, one of the rare finds of that. But I mean, there's guys that just, would work out in a park and do pull-ups on like a park monkey bar and do push-ups and run and throw against a brick wall, and just super cool stuff that guys just created out there. And it's, pretty cool to watch, seeing guys upload videos, being creative with it. But everybody had to start with their own routine and be disciplined, really, because there's no one there directly watching you do it. You have your videos you could post, but you have to actually have some like self-discipline and make sure you get your work in every day, even though it's not convenient. Sometimes you don't even have a person to play catch with because they don't want to risk COVID, because it's a pandemic going on. So people would throw against walls, and so I've thrown against a net for probably 3 months of the whole thing. And it's really, I don't know, just kind of figuring it out as you go. There's no perfect one way to do it during COVID.
Sure. No, totally. Now, when you were down there in spring training, you got a big league experience for the Reds in their pre-spring training, correct? You got a little bit of taste of that.
Yeah, I think I had 3 appearances in spring before it got called.
Yeah. What was that first experience like? Full Reds Union, they're in Goodyear playing a big league spring training game. The Billings, getting your first taste of the minor leagues. Minor leagues, without question, is honestly my favorite part of the baseball. I think it's the intimacy and the just the competitive nature of it. It's just guys fighting to get to the top. There's no money involved. They're fighting to get to the pros. That's all that's on their mind. I think it makes the game better. But you get that first taste of big league ball down in spring training. As far as speed goes and the way of the game moving, how different was it than playing, down in the minors? Was there a change in pace and speed? Everything seemed bigger, faster, and stronger.
I wouldn't say there was a big difference in like the pace of play per se, but I remember like because I got scrambled. They're like get hot real fast in the bullpen because one of our pitchers got in trouble and needed to come
Sure.
in and save the pitch count and all that stuff. So I wasn't even like expecting going that day. And they're like, hey, get up, let's go. And before I knew it, I was on the mound getting the ball from David Bell next to Joey Votto and Tucker Barnhart, and
That's
like
insane.
it kind of like realized like
What
I
the
was just
hell is
sitting in the
this?
bullpen. Like I've seen these guys and like interacted with them, but not on the field. So it was
Right.
like kind of a shocking thing. And I think I walked my first guy in 4 pitches, and I was like, okay, let's settle down here. Like it's just the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I've done this my whole life. I could pitch, and I settled in. I think I struck out the next two guys or something, and just ever since that, my next two appearances were much more calm. But that first batter, my first,
Sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I saw a crowd, I saw the names on the jerseys. That's the stuff you got to try to avoid, and I saw it that first day. But you learn from it and you go forward.
Absolutely. Now, with minor league baseball doing this whole realignment and stuff like that, um, you actually with the Reds, you're fortunate enough to have a team that plays in the Midwest League. I don't know with the realignment and stuff like that. I think it would be Dayton, correct? That was the
Dayton is so we had Daytona and Dayton. Dayton was typically our low A team, and
right.
Daytona was our high A team. But
Sure.
those two are flip flopping. So
Oh,
Dayton will be our high A team, and Daytona will be low A. So I think those are the only moves actually in organization. I think we kept Chattanooga and we kept Louisville. So all of our affiliates are the same from like A ball up. Our rookie affiliates got cut. We don't have Billings or Greenville anymore. I don't
oh
believe.
wow.
So yeah, I don't think that rookie ball is going to be much of a level right now outside of the spring training complexes.
Yeah, no, I mean the nice thing though about the Midwest League is when you had some time with Dayton, it was nice to have these games. I mean, literally close to home. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that had to be nice to have your fan. I mean, I think you said when you played up at Beloit. I mean, that place is rinky dinky small. But I mean, I take it you had a huge family showing
oh
over
yeah. I
there.
had 20 plus people there, and the whole
Yeah,
Midwest League is pretty like close together
relatively
in the
close.
Midwest.
Yeah.
I had family coming out like at least every week.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
awesome,
it
man.
was really cool to have that many people come out and always see me, and friends be able to come see me and stuff like that. And the Midwest League is a great league. Dayton, I
Sure
mean, we got
is.
like 10,000 fans a night.
Mhm.
Really nice big stadium. Really, I mean, I like the Midwest League a lot, and I think that's a big part of the reason why they switched it to a level higher is just give those fans in that league that has a big turnout of fans across the board, not just Dayton, give them even better baseball and let these higher level players enjoy that. So I
For
think
sure.
that's going to be pretty cool.
Now, since you've made that step, obviously professionally, is there anything that you've done to kind of give back to the community or the people or organizations that really were instrumental part of getting you to where you are today, whether it be after school programs or programs, just to kind of tip your hat back to the people and organizations that really propelled you to where you are today as a player in person?
Yeah. So, I mean, I come back, or I did go back to South Elgin my first couple off seasons
Hmm.
after I was in school and stuff. And I would help out. I helped out with South Elgin baseballs, the high school, their tryouts a few times. I do a bunch of lessons and camps and stuff like that for the kids. And then when I was in Dayton too, we could sign up for sheets to like go to elementary schools and talk to like the kids and just kind
Right.
of give them like a figurehead to look at because I remember when I was their age how
Yeah.
cool it must have been for someone like me or my teammates to come in there and have fun with them and stuff. So we went
Mhm.
to a bunch of elementary schools, went to some hospitals. It was really cool stuff, and we had a couple events on the field where we'd invite a bunch of people for like Kids Day, and there'd be a
Right.
bunch of games that we'd run out. So I mean, doing that stuff's always fun. Just seeing these kids get like all bright eyed when they see you because
Yeah, that's awesome.
they think you're cooler than you are.
Yeah,
But it's
that's funny.
fun stuff to do that, and that it's just always good to interact with fans.
Sure,
And,
absolutely.
yeah.
Now, when you look back at everything you've accomplished so far, what was there a moment that you could say really molded you into the person and player you are today, or were there a couple moments that you can really pinpoint that were instrumental to getting you to where you are today?
I mean, yeah, I think there's a few points along a long route. I mean, I
Hmm.
think the person and player I am today has evolved over a long period of time with
Sure.
key events in there. And I think that most of the events that have shaped me or like shaped my play are the times in failure, not in success, surprisingly. So going to double A and immediately getting smacked in the face my first two
Yeah.
outings, giving up like 8 or 9 runs, I was like, wow, I just think of those that really like kind of changed my mindset. I was like,
Hmm.
we're gonna have to put in extra work here and stuff like
Right.
that. And I think there too, I started to like notice it was like again that imposter syndrome, like, do I belong here? Like
Right. Right.
everybody talks like double A is like the next biggest step. I think I saw that into that too much and I settled down after that. But having that as an experience as my last experience before, it was actually kind of a blessing because I was angry after that year. Even just having like a few bad outings that just really made me mad. And now I've had to sit on that for 2 years almost. And having that anger behind it finishing like that has really just kind of driven me to keep wanting to get after it every single day. So if I look at it like that as a positive, I mean, if I
Sure.
finished off strong, really, really strong, maybe I wouldn't have been as hungry as I was to get better now. So I look at that as like a big part of my last time since that day or that.
Absolutely.
So that's
Yeah.
been a big part of it for sure.
Now, is there any word as to when baseball's going to reconvene? I mean, has there been talk yet? Do you have any idea? Because there hasn't been anything surfacing. Usually, we'd be talking about pitchers and catchers reporting in, what, second week of February?
Yeah, usually
First,
mid-February.
yeah. I mean, has there been talk yet about when anything is going to start back up again?
So from what I understand, I know nothing's set in stone. Things are ever
Right.
changing, but what it sounds to be two kind of splits of spring training because spring training there's tons of guys there. You got the whole
Sure.
organization from every level up, and obviously with COVID, that's not ideal with
Hmm.
limited locks and all that, and so I think they're going to split it into two different parts. That's the last I've heard of it, and they're talking about pushing it back slightly, but there's been no dates like mentioned or set in
Hmm.
stone or the exact split of who's where. But I
Yeah.
know that's like an idea that could be the format of it.
Gotcha. Interesting. So what I've been doing now is I've always ended each conversation I do with 5 things people don't know about you, or 5 things that are unique about you. So if you can, what are 5 things that not too many people know about you, Ryan Nutof?
Okay, so geez, getting five might be hard,
Yeah.
but
You're
all
not
right.
forced to do 5, but if you can.
Yeah, the first one is, I guess, an easy one. I've never had a burger from McDonald's. Never
Really?
had any burger from McDonald's.
Oh, I
Uh,
call BS. That's insane. That's
so there's a reason behind it because I didn't even like burgers growing up. For
oh,
some
okay.
reason, I was
Well,
always
that
a
makes
chicken
sense.
nugget guy. Yes, I actually learned to like burgers. It was like in high school, and I never had one from McDonald's at that point. So I was like, you know what? There's not too many people on earth that haven't had one. So I've always kept my pride in that going
That's
forward. So
funny
I
as
said,
hell.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to eat. Another thing is, I have two stepbrothers adopted from Russia.
Hmm.
I guess that's probably not a super known fact. What's another one?
Besides me, Sergey,
Well,
Sergey
people
and
don't
Nick.
know that me and you played Little League
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Let me think what else people don't know about me. Give me some ideas here.
Oh, I have
I
no
don't
clue.
really,
This is
geez, some topics. Hmm.
you're a White Sox fan,
I
aren't you?
guess on the darker side, but
You said you're a big White Sox fan.
oh yeah, I grew up a diehard White Sox
Sure.
fan. I guess I can't say that now. I mean,
Yeah.
playing against them, but yeah, I grew up a diehard White Sox fan. My mom is a huge Sox fan, but my dad's side is all Cubs fan, so we had that little family
Sure.
clash there. Hmm. I my freshman year after or freshman year of college season ended, or actually right before it.
Uh huh.
I broke my tibia
Oh
and I
wow.
pitched a game on a broken tibia and I couldn't
No
play summer ball
kidding.
after that. So I spent my summer in Italy. So that was pretty cool.
Holy cow. That's wild.
Yeah. So I don't think too many people know I pitched the Big Ten tournament on a broken leg, but that was
Wow. And you
I
guys
don't know.
won that tournament, did you?
Yeah, we did.
that's that's awesome. But
I don't. Yeah, I don't even know another thing. I'll get back to you on it. Maybe next time I'm on,
You're
I'll
not
have a whole
forced.
list
Yeah, you're
for you.
not forced to come up with five, but I always like to ask those. But hey, man, well, listen, I appreciate you doing this. I really do. It's so awesome to catch up with you and just to see, because I've always kept tabs on anybody that I've come across that has, made it to that next step. So wishing you all the best, and I just can't wait to baseball gets back in session, because it's like I don't want to turn on a TV until there's something else to watch, because it's just
Yeah.
crazy world we live in right now. So stay safe, be healthy, and I can't wait to see you. I will definitely, if you guys come back to Midwest League, or you get pushed up in there, I'll definitely make an effort to come out and check you guys out. But stay safe, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. You too.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
take care.
You too.